Frankfurt, March 1945. A city shattered by bombs, a German army running out of everything except bad decisions, and American troops who were absolutely done with this war, but still have to fight through one more burning street. This is the story of the battle for Frankfurt and Aschaffenburg, where surrender came slowly, resistance came pointlessly, and the only winners were the ones who survived. The camera opens on long lines of infantry from the U.S. 5th Division, moving down the brand new German Autobahn system. Ironically, a road built by the Reich to prove German efficiency was now being used to deliver the army that would end the Reich altogether. The soldiers march quietly, rifles slung low, boots kicking up dust. For them, Frankfurt is just another city on the map, another objective on the final push into the industrial heart of Germany. A road sign flashes by, Frankfurt. A reminder that this isn't just another ruined town. This is one of Germany's most important cities. Financial capital, transport hub, symbol of the old empire. For Hitler, losing Frankfurt is unthinkable. For American troops, it's Tuesday. Next, German prisoners of war limp past, carrying their own wounded under American guard. That's the reality of Germany in late March 1945. A collapsing army with too many casualties and too few medics, relying on the mercy of a force they had been told would show none. But the Americans treat them correctly. Geneva Conventions 1, Nazi propaganda 0. A busted bridge crosses the river, splintered by months of bombing. German POWs move across it cautiously, some glancing down nervously at the shattered beams. The irony? The same army that blew these bridges up to stop the Americans now has to walk across the wrecks they created. Frankfurt's streets look like someone dropped a history textbook and all the worst pages fell out. Soldiers dart between burned-out vehicles, shattered buildings, and rubble mounds that used to be neighborhoods. In the foreground, dead German soldiers. Their war ended yards from where they started. No speeches, no glory, just silence. The only part of war that tells the truth. Civilians move through the ruins. Old men, women, children. Some stare blankly. Others try not to look at the destroyed homes. For them, the war wasn't about ideology. It was about lost homes, empty cupboards, and a city burned to the bones. The Americans marched them out for safety. A city is falling, but its people still need to be saved. The scene shifts to Aschaffenburg, where the remains of a tank battle sit in a factory yard. German tanks, once symbols of blitzkrieg, now lie cracked open like tin cans. This is what happens when a defensive plan meets Allied firepower in the last month of the war. The armor isn't destroyed, it's cancelled by reality. A Sherman from the U.S. 191st Tank Battalion sits crippled in the street, its crew taking cover behind walls while machine gun fire echoes from across the block. Even in late March, with Germany collapsing, street fighting was vicious. The German defenders in Ashenberg weren't fighting for victory. They were fighting because surrendering meant admitting everything had been for nothing. History would make that admission for them. Civilians move toward the camera, white flags raised. Behind them, a building burns violently, a perfect symbol of what the war had become for German families. A fire started by leaders who fled, and extinguished by soldiers who no longer believed in anything but survival. The women waved the white cloth not out of hope, but out of exhaustion. A young mother pushes a baby carriage, tears running down her face. History books don't talk much about these people. But wars are not won by generals. They are survived by civilians. And this woman is the real face of 1945 Germany. Not shouting, not saluting, just trying to keep her child alive. An older couple shuffles forward, confused, terrified, unsure what comes next. The Reich promised 1,000 years. It delivered 12, and ended with scenes like this. Families walking through the ashes of their own history. Finally, a woman clutches a blanket, staring wide-eyed at the soldiers. She moves slowly, as if unsure whether the Americans are rescuers or just the next disaster. But the war is ending. Frankfurt has fallen. Ashenberg is collapsing. And these civilians, after years of lies, fear, and destruction, are finally stepping into a world without the Reich. In the final days of March 1945, the war in Germany wasn't heroic or glorious. It was confusion, rubble, white flags, and exhausted civilians trying to outlive a collapsing empire. Frankfurt and Aschaffenburg were not just battlegrounds. They were warnings of what happens when a nation follows destruction to its final breath. And in those streets, caught between two armies, the ordinary people carried the heaviest burden of all.